welcome back guys. What a crispy day to film a watch video. I've actually been waiting for a day like this for a couple of weeks because we've only had gray weather and rain here in Sweden, at least where I live. But this is a fantastic day and I'm gonna show you 3 cool watches, and I'm actually gonna show you one watch that actually made me eat my words once again. I've done this once already. You know, I bought the Squale Tropic GMT, I sold it, and then I bought it once again. So when collecting watches, you have to get ready to eat your words a couple of times. So I did that once, and then I do it again. I bought a watch that I really loved, sold it because of the controversy behind the brand, and then I had to buy the second version from their watch again, and I'm gonna eat my words on that one. But I'm gonna talk about all of those eating of words in the proper video of that watch. But today I'm gonna unbox 3 watches, and I hope you like it, because one is actually a really cool comparison that I've been wanting to do for a while. The second one is a watch that I've loved the looks of from when it was first released, but I couldn't buy it because of the controversy, but then I went and bought it anyway because now it's not manufactured anymore. And the third one is just for you guys because I know you like these kinds of cheap watches, and I'm gonna give you a cheap homage watch from Pagani Design. So let's switch the camera, take a look at the table, and take a look at 3 cool watches today. Whoa, wait. I forgot to tell you. I've actually finally started an Instagram page for the channel, as you can see it right here. And it would make me happy if you wanted to follow my Instagram page. I'm going to be posting a lot of pictures there, maybe some giveaways in the future. I don't know. I'm really not an Instagram guy. I usually just hang out on Facebook and YouTube, but I'm gonna try and give it a shot because I know a lot of people have been asking for an Instagram page, and I've set it up and I'm gonna do my best with it, and I hope you can follow me there as well. Anyway, see you. And okay, here we are back again at the table. I'm gonna give you a wristwatch check. It's the Squale Tropic GMT, the first version, the 42 millimeters, and that actually nicely leads us in to the first unboxing, which is actually another Squale. As I said, this was sent to me from my good friend Markus, and this is his private watch, and he sent it to me for a special reason, because he wanted it to be compared to its bigger brother, this watch. So this is the Squale Tropic GMT, but the new version, the little brother, the 42 millimeter. And when this watch was released, I actually first of all, you see the Squale packaging. We have the cardboard box, and then we have the travel pouch inside with the Squale marking right there. We have the warranty card, instructions manual in here, and then we have the watch right here. And here it is. As you can see, it's on a Jubilee bracelet instead of an oyster, and there we have it. I'm just gonna put the packaging away. There we go, and that's it. And here's the watch. As I said, when they first released this watch, I actually screamed a little inside. I thought to myself, why did they have to do this? Because now I have to sell mine just to buy the new version. Because one of the few gripes that I have with my first version of the Tropic GMT is actually might be its size. It's just a little, I know it doesn't look too big on me. I have 20 centimeter wrist, but it just feels a little big, if you know what I mean. It's 42 millimeters. I think it's 50 lug to lug. I just don't remember it from my video, but I'm gonna give you all the specs in the comparison video between these two. And it's actually a male end link, so it makes it even a little bit larger. Oh, sorry. But when they released this version, I thought that, yeah, I'm gonna have to sell mine and buy the smaller one. This is a 40 millimeter in diameter version. As you can see, we have female end links, so the lug to lug is actually quite substantially smaller than on the big brother. But when I got it in hand, because Markus was friendly enough to send it to me, when I get to feel it, I actually discovered that they made a couple of other changes on the watch that I didn't expect, and that actually made me quite happy with the choice I made of buying the first one. It wasn't a choice that was actually the only one available when I bought it. This wasn't available back then, but it actually made me content with my first one instead of buying the new one. As you can see, it's still a beautiful watch, but we have some differences that are quite noticeable. And the first difference is actually there's no cyclops on the date window. As you can see there, we have no cyclops on this one. I actually really like the cyclops on my 42 millimeter version. It's a really nice cyclops compared to the Rolex GMT Master 2. It really gives you a bigger vision of the date right there. And they removed it on this one, which I actually think is a negative. That's a subjective opinion because I like a cyclops. There are a lot of people that prefer watches without cyclopses. Cyclopses, is that what you call several cyclops? but in my opinion, that's a negative. And the second one is actually that they actually changed the bezel action. This baby right here, the smaller brother, has actually what I think is a 60 click bezel, and it sounds something like this. Is it a 60? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. I don't think it's a 60. Let's do some mathematics here. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Yeah, I think it's a 60 click bezel. And it's it has that, I don't know how to describe this, but it doesn't have the metallic feeling. It almost has a, if you can hear the sound, maybe it has that stiff, it's not really audible. It's a muted sound, and it's there's nothing wrong with the bezel action. There's no play. Yeah, a little minimal play there. It's spot on, accurate on the alignment. Nothing wrong with the bezel, but I actually quite prefer the 120 click action of the old bezel. If you can hear this one. Do you hear that? It's the classic, I really don't know the mechanics behind it, why they sound different, but it's the classic metallic spring 120 clicks. It just feels so much smoother when turning it around, and it's in a way it's more tactile, or in a way you could actually say that one is more tactile because you feel the clicks a little more. These are smaller clicks, but they're smoother when you turn them around, and that actually makes me, in a subjective matter, if I had to choose which bezel action I prefer the most, I actually like the one on the original, on the bigger 42 millimeter version the most. But we're different people. You might actually like this version the most. But I don't. I actually think that the types of watches that use that kind of bezel action feel a little bit cheaper, in my opinion. I don't know why I say that, but it is the way it is. Then we have the blue AR coating. I think that maybe they don't have AR coating on the inside of this watch at all, but you can clearly see the blue sheen on the bigger brother in some angles, and you can not see it at all on the new one. So maybe it lacks a blue AR coating, or maybe it has a clear AR coating, because that's an option as well. As you can see, we have some differences in the bezel. This bezel is actually, you can see that the markings are stanched out. I mean, they're hollow, you can feel them. They're engraved, and then actually when you look at it, it's a little less legible than when you look at this bezel. These markings are actually, sorry, they're also engraved, but they're they're filled with a more yellowy color, a little mustard color than this one. This is more of a gray, subdued mustard color. So if you just watch them straight up, you can see that the bezel insert on the big brother is more legible than on the little brother. In some lights you can barely see what's the writing on the bezel insert on that one. And furthermore, it's a smaller case, which actually makes it a little more wearable. It's comfortable on the wrist. We also have a different kind of clasp here. I'm gonna show you the clasp on the bigger brother. Looks like that, with the Squale logo there, and then we have the new clasp on the Jubilee bracelet with this Squale logo right there. Both are good looking. It's a matter of opinion which one you like the most. I actually think that this one looks a little bit better, but I would actually prefer if they had the Squale text written over here, if they had both of them. Yeah, I would like that too. So two great watches. This one, I'm gonna do a head-to-head comparison on these two, show you the benefits of both. And actually, one more thing, this dial here, as you can see on the Rehot, it's called the Rehot, the metallic piece that is between the glass and the dial. You can see it right there. It's a little thicker than the Rehot on this one, making this dial look a little more straight up, right up to the sapphire, and making this dial look a little more inserted into the watch, giving this maybe a little more depth, but giving this, in my opinion, a little more clarity. So I'm gonna give you a head-to-head comparison of these two watches, but my initial thoughts are that, yeah, I'm quite content with the old version, and I'm gonna stick with it even though it's a little bit bigger, because some of the changes they did on this one, removing the Cyclops, changing the bezel action, and changing that bezel insert for a more subdued look that it has now, makes me like mine more actually. But it's a stunning watch within itself, and I'm gonna give you a full video on it in a couple of weeks. I have a lot of watches to plow through and a baby to take care of, but in due time I'm gonna give you everything that you deserve. I promise you that. Let me just put these away now, and then we go to the second watch, the proper unboxing. As I said, I couldn't wait with the other two, but this one I just bought for the channel. I just bought it for a video because I know that people like when I show these kind of more affordable homage watches. So I bought it just to feature it in a video, just for you guys. And as soon as I featured it in a proper video, I'm gonna sell it, and it's gonna have a new owner within a month or so. So this is a proper unboxing with my reactions on camera, and as you might have guessed, it's a Pagani Design. As I said, when I say homage watch, people usually think of Pagani or Parnis or San Martin or whatever. I featured a lot of these watches on my channel. The Pagani Design cloth, and there we have it. As you can see, this is a Tudor Black Bay homage from Pagani Design, with the red bezel insert and with that carbon fiber looking dial. And this is the first time I lay my hands on it actually. It looks good. I'm not really fond of the Pagani logo, but it is what it is. And date window 3 o'clock. You can see some faux patina yellow mustard color on all the indices, the minute, hour hand and second hand. And we have brushed sides, Pagani logo on the crown. It's a screw down crown. Yeah, it is. Odd choice to give us that red coloring right there, and it's not quite matching the red color on the bezel insert, but yeah, we have the riveted bracelet, all brushed, polished on the sides, and there we have the Pagani Design clasp with the text written horizontally, security pushers, 3-fold clasp, open case back, Pagani Design, water resistant, 100 meters, stainless steel. They usually write sapphire glass on the back, and I think this is sapphire glass. They usually have sapphire glass on all their watches, I guess. So I'm gonna just assume that this is a sapphire glass watch. Oh, sorry, I didn't show you the back enough. There we have it. I'm guessing this is a Seiko NH35 movement, as they use those movements in many of their watches, or some kind of Miyota. But I'm gonna give you all the specs in the video. Bracelet feels fine. Watch looks actually like a Tudor. It's might be a little bit thicker. Let's check out the bezel action. Yeah, it's smooth and it's quite flimsy, like always with the Paganis. I mean, the one thing that sets San Martin, and not the one thing, there's a bunch of things that set them apart from Pagani and Parnas, but even Kronos and other, I mean, Pagani, and at least the ones I featured on my channel, they've always had kind of a flimsy bezel action. It does the job. It's a little bit, it has some minor play, but it just feels a little bit flimsy. And yeah, and with flimsy I mean it just feels a little cheap. But hey, it's a cheap watch, isn't it? It's a really cheap watch. I think this is below $100 or something like that, around $100 US. So it's a cheap watch, and why expect anything more than cheap? Everything you get on a watch like this that feels more than cheap, better than cheap, is actually a plus. And it's a good looking watch, as you can see. I'm not going to be able to put it on my wrist because the previous owner had smaller wrists than me, but I'm gonna show it to you on wrist in the proper video. There it is, Pagani Design Tudor Homage. Do you like it? Do you think it looks good? I really think that the dial is quite cool. Yeah, anyway, let's move on to the final watch that I have to show you today. And yes, it's a Ginault. And I know I'm gonna eat my own words because I made a video in Swedish. I actually owned the first Ocean Rover and I thought that was a fantastic watch. And then the Ginault controversy hit the internet with an article, I think it was a blog post or a full article, accusing Ginault of the founder of Ginault being a former Rolex counterfeit replica watchmaker. And they had a really long article about it with all the details, all the proof. And Ginault didn't say nothing about it. They had a response. They said quickly that they've heard about the accusations and they're gonna dig into it, but then nothing, silence. And that actually made me sell my first Ginault Ocean Rover, because I don't know, it was a moral thing. I don't know, I just had to sell it because I didn't like the approach. In my eyes, it would have been better if Ginault just were straight up and said if the accusations were right. If they just said, yeah, we're sorry, we did that in the past, but we've turned a new leaf in our lives and we want to make a legitimate brand now and everything. But they didn't say anything, and that made it a little shady for me, and I sold my first Ginault. And then the Ginault Ocean Rover II released, and oh my god, do I love the look of that watch. The thing with the Ginault is that they make homage watches, but they're actually making homages of older Rolexes that are barely, I mean, for a guy like me, I can never buy one of the Rolexes that they actually make homages on. And they're not straight up homages. They have certain details that are looking different. And then they released the blue bezel, and then I read some other articles, and then I decided to, yeah, I'm gonna buy one, and I'm gonna eat my own words, and I'm gonna explain why I bought one, and I'm gonna do the full explanation in the video. But now the time is ticking, and let's just show you the watch. And there it is, the Ginault Ocean Rover II with the blue bezel. And look at that blue bezel. In some lights you can barely see the blue. In some lights it looks black, and in turning it in some lights it looks gray. I'm really in love with that bezel. And as you can see, the Ginault, they actually offer you, I'm going to talk more about that in the full video review, but they actually offer you a COSC, a watch running within COSC. This is the warranty card, date of purchase. I purchased the watch second hand because they don't make them anymore, and once I got confirmed that they won't be making them anymore, I had to buy one straight away. So I found one in Denmark. This is as you can see, the measurement chart. They measure the watch for 6 weeks, and they give you a certified measurement date and everything. And this is the Sellita SW200-Y. It's a Sellita elaborate movement. We have some cloth in there, we have a strap changing tool, and then we have the actual watch. As I said, I couldn't wait on opening this. I wanted to open this with you guys, but I just couldn't wait, and the weather was horrible, so I just had to open it. I'm just gonna remove that hour hand from the, let's see, the logo there we have it. Buttery smooth action on that crown. We have 300 meters of water resistance. You saw the gasket right there. I'm gonna zoom in a little on this pitch black dial. Look at that. Ginault Kinetic Continuous Ocean Rover, 1000 feet, 300 meters, submersible maritime precision chronometer, hand built in America. Yeah, I'm going to talk about that in the review as well. And the things that they actually changed a bunch of things from the first version, and you wouldn't see it if just by looking at the watch. And I'm going to talk about all the changes they made to the second version, but one obvious change is the ceramic bezel insert, and you can get it with an aluminum insert if you want to. And actually, this is the this is the way I bought the wrong watch. I really wanted the date version, and then I got an email from the owner telling me that they're not able to provide any more orders because they're sold out and they're not going to be making more. And I actually panicked, and then a guy from Denmark sent me the pictures on his watch, and I didn't even notice that it didn't have a date. I just PayPal'd him the money. He showed me a lot of references. I PayPal'd him the money. He sent me the watch. It was here within a couple of days, and I was so happy to have gotten it. And then I opened it and I saw that it didn't have a date window. And I was surprised because I've actually never made that kind of mistake before. But now that I have it in hand, I actually really like the way this no date version looks. It gives you a more symmetric and clean look, and I'm really liking it. So I don't know, maybe I'm gonna try to trade it with someone if someone has the date version, but I'm really leaning on the option of keeping it. Yeah, we'll see how it goes. The bracelet on the Ginault watches is over the top satisfying. the only thing that it lacks, and that I've always said that this watch lacks, is a Ginault logo somewhere on the clasp, because this makes it feel a little generic. It makes it look a little generic, not feel, because it feels anything but generic on the wrist. And then we have the famous glide lock system that Rolex also have on their Submariner, and that I really love. I wish all my watches had this glide lock. It's smooth to operate, and you just set it where you want it, put the watch on your wrist, and if it swells or if it gets a little bit smaller, like today when it's freezing cold outside, you can just adjust that on the fly. There it is on my 20 centimeter wrist. Looks really good. Yeah, this is my first initial thoughts when putting this watch on my wrist was actually that this is a keeper. And I told you before, I'm down to 3 watches now, actually 4 if I count my SKX, or actually 5 if I count my G-Shock. But I want to be a 3-watch guy, so maybe I'm really considering that maybe, even though I bought this once and twice and I really want to keep it, I'm really considering selling this, because this is gonna take all my wrist time. This is so much more comfortable to wear than the Squale, but the Squale is such a beautiful watch, and I have a personal connection with it in some way, because it was actually the first watch that I bought twice. But yeah, so maybe I'm gonna try to keep both some way, somehow. As you can see, it's really thin. I think it's 12.7 millimeters thick. Yeah, it's a beautiful and stunning watch, and that blue bezel insert just makes it even better. And the Ginault Ocean Rover II actually has the most satisfying bezel action I've ever tried on this channel. It's smooth, it's really audible and loud, and it's bang on precise. Just hear it out. Do you hear that? That's the sound of perfection. That's the sound of a perfectly smooth bezel that still gives you each individual sound between the clicks loud enough so that you can hear it, but it's just buttery smooth to operate. And it's not too loose so that you can operate it, so that you're gonna misalign it accidentally. It's a perfect bezel action. This watch has the perfect bezel action. I wish all my watches had the same bezel action as this one. And I know that the Rolex Submariner is setting the standard on bezel action, but I haven't had the opportunity to feel that watch in hand and to actually feel the bezel action for myself. I really hope to get that opportunity one day. But yeah, as you can see, the dial looks stunning. The red second hand is the perfect little detail, perfect little spice of color that this watch needs. Yeah, I'm really in love with this one, guys. I really think this is going to be a keeper, and I'm going to try to give you a full review as soon as possible, because I have a lot to say, both on the watch and about the controversy. And yeah, so guys, that's the unboxing for today. The Ginault Ocean Rover II, the Pagani Design Tudor homage, and the Squale, the little brother of my Tropic GMT, the Squale Tropic GMT 40 millimeters. You're gonna get a full comparison between these two. And yeah, I hope you like what you saw today, and I hope you continue liking what you see from the channel. And if you do, please consider giving it a thumbs up. And if you don't like what you see, give it a thumbs down. Feel free, just write what you didn't like, and I'll try to do better the next time. And if you want to see more content like this, please consider subscribing, because we have a bunch of videos coming out that I think you're going to appreciate. But until then, I hope you have a great afternoon in the sunny weather, if you have sunny weather where you live. I'll see you again. Bye bye.